Hi everybody, it's Doug. I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, which is actually a neat little place to find lock opportunities. And I had seen these advertised. Had no idea what Brady was, and I thought, ugh, I don't know. Well, later I noticed that these are made by Abus. And a little research, I found out that this is basically Abus's comparable to the Master 410 that everybody's so familiar with. This is a LOTO lock, and for those of you unfamiliar with the concept of LOTO or LOTO, it's lockout, tagout. These things are meant to be used by workmen or workwomen. As they are working on a piece of machinery, they would lock it out or lock out the circuit breaker and take the key with them to guarantee that nobody's going to come along and turn the unit on while they're inside working on it. It's a safety feature, and the lock itself isn't very beefy, but the core is quite strong and hard to beat. These were a fun pick, but they can't be gutted because of the plastic body. It's sealed. You have to pretty much sacrifice the lock if you want to see what's inside. These, on the other hand, nicer body. I really like the way it's constructed, and down that shackle hole is a Phillips screw. The whole thing comes apart, which is what we're going to be doing today. I ended up buying 15 of these things, keeping about 6 of them for myself, which I plan to give away in a future giveaway. So if you're not subscribed yet, this is a good reason to subscribe. And the rest I put up for sale on Reddit. So let's take a look at this thing. The keyway is evil. It is actually pretty hard to get a tensioner in there. You have to be pretty creative. I ended up going with, I'll go with like a 30 thousandths or 35 thousandths top of keyway. The bitting, also pretty nasty. Not horrible, but pretty good, pretty darn good. And let's dig into this so that we can see what's inside it. So, let me get that set up in the vise. See if the vise wants to suction down. Nope, not today. Now we got it. And let me get you guys a nice good view of the keyway. Alrighty, so I'm going to start with my Peterson gem for this one. Always a favorite. If this one gives me trouble, sometimes it'll slip off of the pins. Then I might jump over to a Southward. I've got a DeForest Diamond as an alternative. But let's see how we can do with the Peterson gem. So like I said, I need a narrow tensioner in there, and even still it is not a perfect fit, but should be good enough. Also, as I'm picking, I'll let you guys know this is the second run of this video because the first time I filmed it, I opened up the lock and determined that I did not have the proper follower. So then I tried using the plug itself as its own follower. Oops, knocked my tensioner out. Tried using the plug as its own follower, and it was a gutting disaster worthy of a blooper reel. Pins flying everywhere, hilarity ensued, and fun time was had by all. So let's see. Okay, so I'm kind of tickling the pins. You got to get them over. Oh, nope. I keep knocking out my tensioner. You got to get them over a certain point before you can finally start hitting the spools. This lock is great for spool training. Once you get to a certain point with your pick, you're going to find a false set. Now there's the beginning, but I'm going to get a deeper false set when I get a little further in. And once I get that, that's probably looking like it, then I am fighting nothing but spools. And these spools are great training for how, there's the deep false set, for how not to overdo it. because you got to get just past the spool, got to get right on the pin. If I can do that now, I think I'm on number 4. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got to get right on the pin and just ease it through. I don't know if I lost my false set there or not. You got to just ease it through. If you go too far, you lose your false set and you end up starting over. There we go, finished it off. Alrighty, so now that we've got it open, we'll zoom back out for you. Get that out of the way and get the pinning kit in there, or the pinning tray. So while we're here also, a shout out to Dark Arts Lockpicking. When I found I did not have the right sized follower for this, what I ended up doing was making one out of dowel. I went right to my hardware store and found myself some 3/8 inch dowel. Made myself a nice follower, and it served me quite well, even through the hilarious pinning nightmare, gutting nightmare. So here we go. Let's take the insides out of this one. This is actually one I've not gutted before. I told you I had 15 of these, so I've gutted a couple others over time, including the one for the video. And let's see. So one other lesson I learned from gutting this, from the last gut, is that you got to be really careful taking this thing apart so that the balls, the ball bearings, don't go flying out and rolling all over the floor, because that is also very hard to get back together, but it can be done. So I think I've got my screw loosened up properly, and that is the innards. So I'm going to very carefully take this out without the guts coming with me, the actuator and the ball bearings. And that's where I've now learned that my screw probably is just a little bit short of fully unscrewed. There we go. And you'll see the actuator and the balls are still in there intact, but I did lose my screw just now, so as long as we got the important part. The lock, of course, is a nice kick cylinder. And let us see. We want to get this back in position so that we can take the circlip off and hope that doesn't turn into a flying object. There we go. Oh, luck was with me. Got the circlip off, and we are ready. Just want to make absolutely sure that I'm doing this carefully. Careful's not my strong suit. Alrighty, so here comes that homemade follower. Alrighty. So another thing I found in gutting this is that they are very fond of using wafers. Mastering wafers. I don't know if these are necessarily mastered. The wafers are really, really thin, but I think it allows them to use less varied sizes of full pins. So they basically can use the wafers to fill up for where the pins didn't reach their limits. So let's start with number 1. That's just a full pin. I can see a master wafer already. 2 is a wafer and a pin. 3 is a wafer and a pin. 4, that wafer I was just holding in place. And a pin. Oops, just got my wafer from the next one. A wafer from 6. Okay, it just jumped, but I'll move that back in just a moment. Alrighty. Okay. I'll have to check back on video that I put the right ones in the right place. Okay, so there's your pins to go along with your bitting. And let's have a look in the Bible. Okay, I guess I'll start at the back. Okay, oops, just caught that and dropped it anyway, so that in number 6 was a nice spool. Five is a spool. 4 is a spool. And let's trade ends here if we can. Heading over to 1. Now 1 is a standard pin, while the rest of them are spools. I can speak from experience. And like I said, you get that nice deep falset, those spools, you really get to some good practice working those pins, those spools. So there is the inside for you. And lots of master wafers, but very thin ones. Take a quick look at one of those spools so you can get a view on how Avis makes their spools. And just an idea of how thin those master wafers are. They're tiny. Alrighty, so there is your Avis Brady LOTO lock and pick and gut for you. There we are. Thanks for joining us. Oh, you know what? Forgot to close up on the pins. I knew I forgot something. Hopefully that's nice and close for you. Maybe I'll lift them up. All right, thanks for joining me. I guess this is technically a Stock Lock Sunday, but using a LOTO lock for a stock lock. Thanks for joining me. Please do subscribe, like, comment. I love to hear your feedback, and we'll hope to get some more interesting locks as we move our way along. I've got some locks that I got from a real locksmith who sent me some, and I'll be opening those along the way. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon.